DDG episode 255. My name is Dave, and I'm joined by Michael.
Dave, we're keeping with that release schedule. We're keeping up that cadence as much as we can. Luckily, things lined up, and we got a PlayStation Direct to talk about. I'm kind of excited to talk about PlayStation.
I think he's getting himself confused. It's a state of play, and it's a Nintendo Direct, but same concept. So
whatever. We got a state of play. We got something.
All right, so real quick, we'll get some of the minutia out of the way. We are Digital Days Gaming. We are typically a bi-weekly podcast now, I guess we'll call it, that posts. Don't really have a cadence yet currently as we return from our couple of months off. So we're looking at, like we said, about 3 podcasts a month. But the cool thing is maybe even more compacted short-form content. The show might not be very long today just because there's a state of play and it's worth talking about. And there was a Nintendo Direct last week that wasn't worth talking about, so we didn't talk about it. That's kind of what our cadence is going to be. If you guys send us a bunch of questions, and we have like all of a sudden in a week we have a ton of questions, like we'll record a podcast about questions. But you can definitely follow us on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter. You can follow us on Twitch. Michael is working on the TikTok in the background again. I was getting a bunch of emails about that this week.
Yeah. I was like trying to figure out what email it was registered to. Turns out it was a different email, so now we have 2 TikTok accounts. So yeah,
that's fine. I think we got TikTok banned a couple years ago, anyways. So
I think everyone gets shadow banned from TikTok at least once.
Yeah. So, but you can also watch us on Twitch or YouTube. Twitch.tv/Digital Days Gaming, YouTube.com/Digital Days Gaming. You can follow on YouTube. You can follow on Twitch. That's free. You can subscribe on Twitch. That costs I think it's like $8 now. But if you have Amazon Prime, you can link your Amazon account to your Twitch account and get Prime Gaming, and you can use a sub on a streamer of your choice. If you're not using it on one, you want to use it on us, that's great. On YouTube, you can subscribe. That's free. We don't have any paid content on YouTube as of now. So, and then everything else, if you need to see it, is we have a Discord that's linked in the show notes, and we have digitaldaysgaming.com. Where it has links to everything that I just talked about. And we're going to jump right into the state of play.
Yeah, so we got a state of play, the longest state of play in a really long time. It was just over an hour. Usually state of plays have been roughly like a half hour, sometimes even less. But this one was a mix of third party and first party, which is something that feels like hasn't really happened too long outside of Soros. And I guess Marathon, we can include that in first party now, even though it still feels weird. But yeah, we got a bunch of stuff. This, again, the way we do this, I put games to talk about that me and Dave are interested in, but there was a ton more games that were in this, surprisingly. Again, Dave, just to talk about it overall, I would say this is probably one of the better state of plays that I've seen in a while.
I almost want to feel like without a huge reveal, like I don't even remember if we're talking about Spider-Man's being revealed and during state of plays, and like the Wolverine was teased, but top to bottom, I would have to go really back and look, but I almost maybe the best post-COVID state of play.
Yeah, at least the best PS5 state of play. Like we're gonna do that. Yeah, post-COVID. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
but yeah. So, we'll jump in.
Super impressed, like the cadence of it, like what they were showing. Solid top to bottom.
Yeah, no, and we'll start at the top. We have a sequel to Kenna. It's called Kenna Scars of Kazumura, and it's coming to PS5 and PC this year. Kenna was a launch title, or launch-ish title, I want to say, maybe within the first year. And that was a pretty decent game. I don't remember if I finished it, or if I did, I forgot. But it was a good kind of throwback to that PS2 era of video games with a little bit modern graphics. I don't know how far you got into Kenna. I remember we were both playing it at one point.
Yeah, I don't remember how far I did or didn't get either. I believe it came with Plus. I can't remember.
It might have been.
But I'm actually looking for something to potentially play offline, like when I'm flying next week or waiting in the airport for connections. So it's on sale on Steam for like $20. So I'm probably I think it's a Bridge of Spirits or something like that. So
yes,
I'm going to buy it.
Bridge of Spirits.
It's like $19.99 on Steam. So I'll play it on my ROG in the airport, in the plane. And, I think I don't need or want internet while I'm on this cruise. So it'll be a good thing for me to maybe like wind down at the end of the night, or God forbid if it rains or something like that, or I just need like a half an hour to myself on the boat. But it just kind of made me like want to play the first one again, and I don't remember. I remember playing it. I don't remember how. Like I said, I don't remember how far I did or didn't get. But this is also awesome. I think that they have some partnership with PlayStation Studios, but I like the PS5 to PC on the same, what appears to potentially be the same date. And this is kind of that trajectory that we want to see developers do. Like, okay, they did a cool idea, and now it looks like that they're just doubling down on it, and it looks so much improved. Like, better is not the right word. It just looks improved. So.
Well, because they're not doing anything like drastically different from the first one. They know they have a solid foundation and they're building upon that, which is what you're supposed to get for sequels. Like, you don't always have to swing for the fences every time you do a sequel. This is like, hey, we have a proof of concept. It was a good proof of concept, and let's just keep building on that. Especially when you do have like some good character design in it to build off of, and it can become an established name. In that kind of like second party realm that is kind of finds itself in, of just like, it's not a first party game, it is third party, but there is a partnership with PlayStation for that game, and just to see that it did have enough success to get a sequel is a little
that's the most
surprising.
impressive part.
Because it's been a while, so the fact that it's gone kind of quiet and here we have a sequel coming out this year is pretty big. The next thing we got is Ghost of Yotai's multiplayer is coming. So Ghost of Yotai Legends, like how it was for Tsushima, it is coming March 10th. It has been nice to see Yotai getting like some steady content updates with it. I am halfway through Yotai. I don't know if I'll dabble with the multiplayer, but it's just good to see that they continue to just kind of add things to this game. It seems like that's the cadence with some of the first party stuff of like consistent updates.
It's cool. At first I was like, oh my gosh, are they going to try to do their own like independent thing here, like their own standalone? And you know, as I was watching it, I was like, when I saw the Sucker Punch logo come up right away, I was like, and then when I first saw the characters, it did not immediately scream Yotai to me, and I was like, what is this? And then after about 30 or 45 seconds, I'm like, oh, okay. It's just the same thing they did with Tsushima.
Yeah.
Can't say that word.
Tsushima. I always hear multiple different ways it's said, so it's okay, Dave.
Yeah.
And I also flip between the two ways that I hear it. But yeah, no, I don't know if, again, I'm going to dabble in this, but it's a good way to keep people engaged with this franchise, and it is going to be a franchise. It seems like Sucker Punch does have something that they can build on consistently by just, introducing new characters, different time periods, and then doing this where the game comes out and then a month or two later they release a new game plus, and then a month or two after that they release some sort of like multiplayer or expansion. So good on them for keeping that going and just building, especially because they take so long to release in between games. Like the sequels or just their next game in general is probably going to be 6 years out. So it's nice that they do something in between.
I guess ultimately, how do you feel about them following the exact same playbook that they did for the first one? Like, they're almost on the exact same cadence.
So I would want to know what the perspective is. So I never finished the first one because I just kind of fell out, and I find myself kind of in the same spot where I'm halfway through this game and I'm like trying to force myself to finish it. So it's hard for me to answer that. I would love to know people that are like diehard fans, how they feel about that. Yeah. But for me, I like Yotai a little bit more than the first game, so I kind of enjoy that they're kind of following that same blueprint just a little bit because I wasn't too exposed to it the first time around. But to your point, how long can they keep this going if they do announce a third Ghost game?
It's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. I mean, they're doing their thing, and that's fine. I just, even as somebody, I think my son has completed both of them, and he's never talked to me. My oldest son, he's never talked to me about this multiplayer mode, and I just wonder if it's like, I feel like there's a part of PlayStation Studios that's in that single player lane, and they dominate that single player lane so well. And then when they try to, and this is not a slight on Sucker Punch, but when they try to pivot a little bit like that, not that it's unsuccessful, but it's not successful. So, like, I don't know, but I don't know what their version of successful is. If this is stuff that they were making as like maybe it was potentially an over the top battle scene or cut characters, cut boss fights, cut something, like cut with air quotes that they're now going to spin into something else. It's not a wasted asset then.
So from what I remember from people that did play the first one, the Legends mode was really popular, but it felt kind of shallow. So it's going to be a question of, is this going to be more fleshed out than the first one, or is it just going to be the same sort of experience? That's going to be key to this, and it feels like it is them kind of experimenting to see if maybe they could shift this franchise or their next game to something more multiplayer focused. Because they have the structure from the first game, and they were just like, okay, let's see if we can build on that and get some popularity going. The problem I think they're going to face is just getting new people into this multiplayer game that don't already have Yotai, like, because the whole point of multiplayer
or
games
the
is to
people
bring people in.
Or the people that bought the game on launch day, launch week, and beat it in the first month or 6 weeks, like they do. They bought their game, they took care of it. I think it came in November or whatever. They took care of it like over a holiday break or, whatever time, and they put it on the shelf and they move on, which is the majority of the gameplay. Like, that's fine. Like, it's just like, is this going to get somebody to either A, reinstall or relaunch Yotai? And I don't know. I'm just curious. I mean, I guess I'm asking the listeners, like, is this getting you to reinstall or go back and play or what? Like, I would like to know. I know a handful of our listeners have played both games, potentially platinum both games even. So I'm just more curious if this is enough to get you to replay it or to play more.
And I would imagine they have the data, which is why they started this one of like, hey, we did get people to reinstall this game when it came. And then I wouldn't be surprised if this game hits PlayStation Plus Essential or something, in the summer, and then maybe that could be another boost of like, oh, you know what, I will play Yotai, and then it'll get some subscribers in. Though I would imagine PlayStation Plus subscribers don't really jump that often, because I feel like people that are subscribers are just locked in for, permanently. Like, it's...
Yeah, because I don't think they even offer a monthly cadence to it, or if they do, it's outrageously expensive.
I believe it's still... I believe they still do monthly, but it's outrageously expensive, or they might do 3-month or 6-month. I forget what it is.
Yeah.
But like, do they get people that do hop back in for something like this, or has PlayStation Plus hit that Xbox Live thing during the 360 era where it's like they didn't have to care about getting people to jump in because you just had to have it by default? Like I would imagine PSN. Yeah,
I'd be curious. Like, that's a great point. Yeah. The PS5 attach rate to PS Plus users, I bet you, is like monstrously high.
Yeah, to where they're not
monstrously high.
Which is why you probably see them kind of take it easy with the premium and the essential like catalog, because they don't really have to try. They don't have to rely on what like Game Pass has to rely on. Game Pass needs those jumps. But PlayStation doesn't need
however, they still make a big deal about Spider-Man 2. I'm like, really?
Yeah. I was confused because I was like, is it unessential? But it's like, oh no, it's in the regular catalog. So it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Nothing matters to me.
Let me just be clear. Like, Sucker Punch is a phenomenal studio. They have produced 4 great games, 1 mediocre game. Infamous 1, Infamous 2, Ghosts, both Ghosts, and then I would say Second Son was okay.
So, and then all the Sly Cooper games or God tier.
Yeah, I was just talking more recent. I guess they're like the last 5 games. But I just don't. I hope that they don't fall victim, and I think it's kind of gone away in the PlayStation studios of you have to do a service style game, and like maybe this is their way of like placating the board and being like, oh, we do, it's okay, like it's over there, it's Legends, it's okay, to say like, stay away from us, we did Legends, like we checked our box, go away. Because I don't want them to try to do a Concord, or I don't want them to try to do factions, like stay continuing of third person action, supernatural, super cool combat games that they dominate.
I would imagine that their payroll must be just low enough that they can fly under the radar, and PlayStation isn't forcing them to do. Especially, they let them go like 3 to 6 years without releasing a game. So I'd imagine there's not a crazy pressure on them to like go into the live service game, especially now that Jim Ryan's gone, and it seems like they're kind of reshuffling how they're going to do things. I would imagine there's more pressure on a Naughty Dog, because Naughty Dog's expensive to run as a studio. They kind of shoot for the moon every game. But a Sucker Punch, based on what
missing
they
a generation.
Yes. So there's more pressure of like, we need to squeeze whatever money we can out of them.
That's a great point.
And Sucker Punch is just like, hey, they're going to release something. It's not going to be crazy expensive. It's going to look great. It's not going to look cheap. And then we go. So I imagine that plays along with kind of how they can get away with doing stuff like that. And then everyone's just kind of chasing Insomniac, who just do, crazy work at a pretty high release schedule.
Yeah.
The next thing we got is the Bad Robot game, which is called For Loop. I believe this is like second party. I want to say it's a partnership PlayStation is doing with Bad Robot, and it is, I believe, one of the creators for Left 4 Dead. So, of course, it's called For Loop. It's a 4-player co-op shooter, and it is coming out this year. And I didn't think they gave a specific time, other than it's coming this year, and there's going to be a beta relatively soon for that. Looked okay. I feel like Bad for Blood was kind of a miss.
Left 4 Dead, Bad for Blood. It's just kind of like,
what was the monster one? What was the monster one?
I don't remember.
Shit.
Yeah, the 4v1 one. Yeah, there's a squad of 4 versus the monster. I don't remember what it was called. There's a market for this, or there was a market for this. And I just don't know if that market's still there. And I still think it's one of those things that
evolve.
This genre of game tests and plays in a group of 4 people phenomenally. Like I'm telling you, like focus groups are people they bring 4 strangers in, they start playing the game together, they start talking to each other, they start playing, and they're having a blast, and they check all the boxes and they say, yeah, this is a green, let's go. And then it turns into an online thing, and people don't talk, or I don't have 4 people on that dedicated core group of people that I want to play with, and you get it for like a week or 10 days or 2 weeks or a month, and you're done, and it's over, and it's dead.
I mean, like talking about like Back 4 Blood, that was a game. It was decent. My friends and me had fun with that game, but we had the thing that you were talking about, where it was kind of hard to kind of schedule some people together, and you'd get one person out of your group that kind of falls out of favor with the game or whatever reason, or schedules don't line up, and then you just kind of put the game to wayside. And I remember they had like an extensive like season pass thing, but we didn't get to the end of that season pass because by the time the first content came out, second content came out, we just kind of dropped people from our squad, and finding people from the internet just wasn't great. So I imagine this game will fall under that same thing. I do like that the creator, and I don't think it's related to the studio that made Back 4 Blood, it's just the creator, that they just keep pushing this concept, and it just seems like it gets a nice green light every time that they want to do this style of game. So that's where we are with those. The next thing we got is, I'm glad they got rid of this early, Pragmata and a Resident Evil Requiem trailer. I've seen a lot of these games over the last couple of events, be Game Awards, Summer Game Fest, other State of Plays, Nintendo Directs, Xbox events. So we got trailers for those. You're talking more
Resident Evil than Pragmata, right?
Yeah, but Pragmata has been building. I believe it was in one of the Nintendo Directs. It was at
really?
Game Awards. Okay. So it has been popping up enough to where Capcom just kind of shows too much stuff, I feel like. So I like that they kept these trailers short, just reminded you, hey, they're coming this year, and that's kind of all we needed from these games. I don't know if either one of these piqued your interest, but
Pragmata interests me. It interests me a little bit more each time. I see it. I must not have been paying very much attention. I feel like this is only my second or third time seeing it, so I was kind of okay with it.
Yeah, they've been showing like bits and pieces here and there. But it has been popping up. So again, I appreciate that they're still showing them, but they didn't spend too much time with those. After that, we got Legacy of Kain Defiance. This is a remaster of the original game, and it is being worked on by Crystal Dynamics. Good just to hear Crystal Dynamics' name. I know they're working on the Tomb Raider stuff, but I was really worried for Crystal Dynamics after Xbox cut them loose with the Perfect Dark game, and then just their current owners aren't like the best financial situation. So to see that they're just kind of chugging along is pretty cool. I don't have the greatest experience or memories of Legacy of Kain. It was a PS1 franchise. I remember renting them from Blockbuster and Hollywood Video, but I never was like a big Legacy of Kain person.
Yeah, I mean, same. I don't really have. I know of them. I don't remember having any memories of playing them. It looks cool as in a retro aesthetic style game.
Yeah. But people are into them. This one, it's one of those franchises you always hear people like, oh, I want Legacy of Kain. I want Legacy of Kain back. And we get a remaster. Maybe this can spawn something new from the franchise, which always just had a cool aesthetic. It's always had good music, so this could be the gateway to getting like something brand new with a bigger budget. Then we got Control Resonant gameplay. I'm excited for a sequel to Control. This definitely has a bigger vibe since you're outside of the house and you are now like in the streets of New York, and it kind of looks like Inception with like sideways buildings and rooftops. It just looks good. It's not the multiplayer game; it's a single player game, which is the thing I'm looking forward to. Is just diving back into that Control world, because Control just always had that like Twin Peaks, X-Files like marriage of concepts with like some pretty slick action. And it's a Remedy game. You know, we were talking about how many games Remedy has in development, and Control Resonant is one of those many games, and it is coming sometime this year. Did this pique your interest? Because you did play Control 1. I don't know how far you got into Control 1.
Yeah, I didn't get very far in it. It looks interesting. The combat looks cool. The traversal looks really cool. I guess I have a little bit of a finicky, potential picky question I want to ask you.
Yeah.
I don't really know what to call it, but do you think that the HUD looks rough? Like the player bar and how some of the prompts were showing up and the health bars of the enemies, like it just didn't look clean? Or is that just kind of Remedy's style?
Man, I would have to look at it again, because I think I was more focused on the gameplay than the HUD, because I don't remember too much of a HUD in the first game. But again, there was so much visually going on that I wasn't really focused on that.
I was just looking at, like, sometimes I look at how powerful a weapon feels, and maybe this is from playing so much stuff that involves time to kill and abilities and things. I was looking at how you traverse, and it kind of did that, like, cursor, like click on cursor that shrunk down to the player and then the bar to the enemy, and then the bar was there, and I'm like, it's really picky. It's something for me. Like, I noticed it with Suicide Squad early on. I'm like, whoa. Like, and I don't know if it's just from so much like Destiny and so much Division, where like I'm a bit just more critical of that. And and to be fair, Massive and Bungie, you have a relatively clean one. I haven't paid too much attention because I don't think Marathon's showing it. It's something I'm very concerned about with Marathon, just because like how they do stuff, and I thought like Borderlands 4, I didn't play it at all, but went way over the top, like where it was too much. And I'm just like, ugh. So it might be just a me thing.
Yeah, I do remember it zooming in on some of the attacks a little bit, and there was something about some of the attacks. Specifically, I think there was one point where you just like jams a spear into someone that looked a little like off to me, but I was also just kind of distracted by like the world that they used and created.
It could still be early on. Could be lack of. It could be buffering of the stream. It could be watching YouTube on your TV. Like any of that stuff too could affect all that versus how it plays when it's on your console.
Yeah, it definitely could be that. We don't know how early the footage they were showing us. After that, the thing that popped up was Crimson Moon coming in 2026. This was Dave, when I first saw it and they were doing the overview talk about this game, I thought maybe we were going to get a Darksiders game. But it turned out to not be that. It is just a very gothic, almost Devil May Cry like theme. Dark fantasy action game coming out this year. I believe it's listed as an announcement trailer, so I think this is the first time we've seen it. But this looked really cool. I really thought it was a Darksiders trailer, and I was like, Dave's going to be locked in for this, but it was not.
I thought it looked super cool, like super shiny, like that concept of that what they're going for. I really liked it. It got my attention right away. And I sound old when I say this, but like over the top gore, in my opinion, maybe for that style, for that color, and like it seemed like it was a little bit too bloody.
I can see that. I have seen a lot of comparisons.
I'm sure it's something I could get used to. It looked intriguing. The combat looked cool. It looks to be somewhat of a co-op game, potentially multiplayer
like
or
two
more.
Players, maybe.
Yeah. But I was just like the brightness and the colors and the way the characters looked, and then just blood shooting out of the enemy. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, it might be a little over the top. I feel like that is kind of... There's a couple games... It's always funny how this works out, where there's always a bunch of games that kind of look similar to each other. And I feel like there were a couple different games that had this aesthetic, but this was definitely the more bloody of the games that had that aesthetic. So it definitely that popped out, and I think there was like some like rock music in it as well that I wasn't expecting. But
Yeah.
everything looked like something that I would probably enjoy, and
Yeah.
we're seeing a lot of 2026 release dates for these things, and I imagine they're all before whatever the fuck Grand Theft Auto's release date will end up being.
Yeah.
So it makes me excited for the first half of this year, because I feel like we are going to start getting a wave of games that are just going to come out before the holiday. After that, we get Rayman 30th Anniversary coming out June 26th. So they're just, going back to Rayman. It looks like they're going to do like the whole presentation thing where there's going to be like interviews in the game as well, just kind of give you history of it. This is funny because the creator of Rayman let this out actually like last week. Just in a random interview said like, oh yeah, we're going to do some like anniversary edition thing for Rayman probably. And then it turns out like, yeah, no, that's totally happening.
But why isn't this at a Ubisoft event?
What was that?
Why isn't this at a Ubisoft event?
Because they have nothing to present.
Okay, I agree with you. That's fine. It just makes Ubisoft look even worse.
Yeah, but I think if they did an event just for Rayman, people have been like, "What the fuck?"
I don't need an event just for Rayman. I need a Ubisoft Forward. I need something to tell me like, we know you're hiring for Division 3. Talk about it. What are you doing with Ghost Recon? Like, what are you doing with your weren't we supposed to get some like Assassin's Creed like portal system? Like, where's
apparently that's already canceled. Apparently that's
right.
Like, that's the problem is they canceled
I get
everything.
It. But when you said it out loud, I think you have to circle back to it and say, hey, we're redirecting our Assassin's Creed efforts, and therefore we're pivoting away from this, and this is our plan. Like, here's what's going on with Division. Here's what's going on with. I feel like you have to address the elephant in the room at some point in time. You can't just stop talking about something and just hoping to just assume it's going to go away. And that seems to be their philosophy.
I think they have no choice. I think they canceled enough things that they legitimately are starting from scratch in a lot of areas, and they're lucky that they are working with a outsourced studio. I think they're working with Way Forward for this collection. Yeah. Otherwise, there would be no collection. I don't think we're getting an Ubisoft Forward. Like, if there's an Ubisoft Forward this summer, I will be amazed and shocked. But I feel like we're like 2 years away from an Ubisoft Forward. Yeah. They're going to have to reintroduce themselves in 2 years of like, hey, we're Ubisoft, the makers of Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and all this stuff. We've been away for a while. We went to our home planet. They're going to have to do some stupid shit to like get people to remember who they are.
We had to go in a different galaxy to bring Beyond Good and Evil back.
We went to HR Hell Purgatory, and we passed all of our courses, and we're back now, is what they have to do. They have to do their e-learnings to survive.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Don't worry, man. They're going to get through those harassment trainings, and they're going to be back better than ever.
Print out their certificates and
yep. That's actually what's going to pop up at the beginning of
LinkedIn,
the Ubisoft Forum.
The LinkedIn, like a B-roll of all the people doing LinkedIn certifications.
Yes. I am certified, not going to harass people. This pops up on the screen. Actually, when the CEO pops up, when the CEO pops up, it's not going to say CEO of Ubisoft. It's going to be like certified past the LinkedIn Learning for harassments. Like it's just going to have all their certs under their names. That's how they have to do it. We're not getting invited to any Ubisoft events. After that, we got Star Wars Galactic Racer. This is a racing game that isn't from EA, which means it's not Criterion or anything like that. This is new studios, new publishers that are working on this. So we're getting another arcade racer in a Star Wars universe. This looked really nice and clean. I just don't know the pedigree of these studios to know if we will actually get this and it will look this good. But I liked what I saw in the brief trailer. I believe it's being worked on by Fuse Games. I had to look them up.
Yeah, I don't even know who they are, so...
Yeah, but this looks good. I loved pod racer games growing up as a kid, so I wouldn't mind checking those out. We did get another 007 trailer. That's still coming out May 27th. That's starting to lean on me to where I've kind of seen enough I don't need to really see anymore.
I mean, it's giving me exactly what I want from it. It's giving me Uncharted vibes, but the James Bond universe, and I'm
Yes.
cool. Like, you had me on the first time you showed this, like him jumping out of a plane with the Bond music and the 007. I'm like, cool, I'll play. And it got delayed, which was unfortunate. Thankfully, the delay doesn't appear to be very long. But yeah, I'm with you. Like, okay, like, just release it, please. Like,
Yeah. All they needed to do the first time was say, hey, the Hitman devs are working on a 007 game. And then the second thing they needed to be saying was, this isn't going to play like a Hitman game. And that's all I needed. Of just like, cool, that's all I want. Probably the biggest news from... this personally, the biggest news from the show for me, but I still think it is one of the biggest news stories to come out of this is... Konami is basically back. They announced 4 different games, but they started with the biggest one, and that is the Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 2, coming August 27th. This will be the collection that brings Metal Gear Solid 4 and Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker up to modern games. These are remakes of those classic games, and more importantly, this finally gets Metal Gear Solid 4 off the PS3. That has been one of the biggest demands from Metal Gear fans is please release what's considered one of the greatest Metal Gear games, though Metal Gear Solid 5 is probably just edges that out. But bringing that game up to modern consoles and off the PS3, where it still plays fine on the PS3, but not many people have their PS3s still hooked up and want to deal with playing it on an old controller in 680p, because I don't think it even did 720p. Huge announcement for Metal Gear Solid fans.
How I'm not a Metal Gear guy. I'm not a Metal Gear guy at all. It might be something I dabble with one day, but what was the audience reception or the reviews for Volume 1? Like, did it play well? Did it work well? Did Capcom do what they do?
Or Konami.
Konami, yeah, I'm sorry.
So they were mixed. Part of the problem is physical release. Not all the games were on the disc, which is kind of silly because they were like PS1, PS2 games that should have been on a disc or on cart. Some of the games played fine, but they didn't play great. You can tell they didn't put love into like everything that they should have because they maybe didn't want to remake something from scratch. It's going to be very interesting to see how they handle Metal Gear Solid 4 in terms of it's going to be bare bones. We're talking about translating a PS3 game, so I want to know what type of work needs to be done to it, though there has been a lot of good emulation work.
Because it was only a PS3 game, right?
Correct. And it is one of those games...
That means cell processor.
Yeah, and it's one of those games that people have been struggling to emulate on PC, so some decent work had to go into this. The game, again, still visually holds up for the most part, but it is on the PS3 running sub 720p. So hopefully they can get it working pretty well. They're actually doing updates for Volume 1 for higher resolution stuff, which is kind of hilarious that they patched Volume 1 a little bit, which kind of maybe shows you the condition that Volume 1 released in. If like a year later...
or they found something that worked in Volume 2 and then they tried to put it in Volume 1 and it worked. And they're like, oh.
Yeah, why didn't we do this before? Yeah, so we're going to get Metal Gear Solid 4 and Peace Walker in a separate volume. Hopefully they're on disc, on cart for the crazy collectors like me. But this is huge.
As a non-Metal Gear fan, that cadence of how they showed the different games confused the shit out of me.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a PS3 game and a PSP game that they're bringing up, and they look completely different from each other.
Just like, is that the same game? And I'm like, oh, it's a volume. Okay. I was like,
yeah. A huge difference between those two games. Both of them are considered like the pinnacle of this franchise. Finally getting these again. I still have my PS3 hooked up. This has been on my list of like, if I'm gonna replay this game eventually, because I've been wanting to show Sarah the world's longest cutscene. I think it still holds the record for like just the fact that this has like multiple 40+ minute cutscenes. I've been wanting to replay it, but it's just kind of a pain in the ass to play on the PS3 and to be able to play this on PS5 this soon is just kind of amazing.
Yeah. Because don't get me wrong, if this comes to PC as an example, like I'm looking for things that I can play, whether I'm going to doctor's appointments with Angela or I'm doing stuff differently than I have been doing it prior, or just trying to spend, not necessarily being able to dedicate time to come downstairs and play on something, or to take up the entire living room TV and play something, to where I can play it on my handheld or on the ROG. And if this is something that I could pick up and play and enjoy and have a good time with, like, I'm not opposed to it. I'm trying to find a different groove with games now.
Yeah. I mean, Peace Walker, maybe you can play portable, waiting for appointments or something like that. Metal Gear Solid 4, probably not going to be that game, but
right.
It could be a reason for you to get into the Metal Gear Solid franchise.
Yeah.
And I believe the collection, they did say, like, when they showed like the image of what's in the package, it did mention the Metal Gear Solid database for Metal Gear Solid 4, which was a separate app on the PS3 that was very helpful if you're jumping into Metal Gear, because it has a very confusing timeline. It basically comes with its own Wikipedia for you to, like, learn what the fuck's going on in the game, so you can jump into it.
That's cool.
So the fact that they're potentially bringing that database over is pretty cool. Other things from Konami, Castlevania Belmont's Curse. So we're going to get a 2D Castlevania game, which is nice. I believe it's coming this year, because it's the 40th anniversary of Castlevania, which is just scary that it's 40. But we're talking about an NES game, so it makes sense. But yeah, this looks good. I feel like you're usually down for Metroidvania games.
Yeah, I saw this and I immediately wanted to play it. So I was like, oh, maybe this is going to be one of those Shadow Drop things that comes out. And I'm like, at the end, I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah. After that, we got Silent Hill Townfall. So new Silent Hill game coming from Annapurna, which is something I wasn't expecting, but it's just kind of showing you Konami is just willing to collaborate more with outside studios and publishers. So that is coming this year. So the Silent Hill truck or train is just moving forward, and we're getting yearly Silent Hill games. This will be the third year in a row we get a Silent Hill game. And then they announced a new JRPG franchise called Rev Noir that looked really cool. It's being compared to the Tales RPG games, and it bright, colorful, with pretty compelling gameplay, and something I just wasn't expecting Konami to be doing, because I feel like Konami basically said, we hate video games, we don't want to make video games anymore, like several years ago. Dave, you remember their E3 booth at the last E3, which was just a logo that said Konami, and you were not allowed to take photos of the logo or go anywhere near their booth, because that was their anti-video game time. And then they came back to video games, and they were just remaking games, and then it was like, okay, they're just going to do this forever. And now they're doing new franchises, which is kind of cool to see. But there is that. After that, we got a John Wick video game starring the likeness of Keanu Reeves. I'm not too sure if that was his voice. But this is what the John Wick game I think fans had wanted, as opposed to the, was it Mike Bithell John Wick Hex game, which turned out to be kind of like a puzzler. Yeah. But yeah, the cinematic trailer we got for this, so it was just brutal, super violent. I was watching it on a train, so I just felt kind of weird watching people get their heads bashed in with pots and stuff like that while I was just sitting on a train next to strangers. But it looks like this could potentially be cool. I believe it's Saber Interactive. So take that with a grain of salt in terms of what the final product could end up being. But did John Wick catch your eye? Are you a John Wick fan?
Angela and I, during some of her resting time, we were watching a couple of the John Wick movies, and we enjoyed what we saw. But like not enough that I think that I would play the game. Like I don't, because like immediately, like the little bit of John Wick that I've watched, I saw like the trailer where he like stabbed the guy with a pencil. I'm like, he did that in the movie. Like, do something different.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely seemed like it was like quite literally the greatest hits of John.
Which is fine. Wick. You know, cool. I mean, like John Wick super fans are going to enjoy it. But if you want to get somebody else to play that maybe doesn't know anything about John Wick, like, oh yeah, maybe. But I'm like, okay, cool.
This seems like one of those things where I don't think there was a release date at the end of it, just a wish list now. I just have the weirdest feeling that this is going to be one of those things where tomorrow websites are going to be like, oh, actually, that was a trailer to hopefully get people to come work on the game sort of situations.
Yeah. It's literally called Untitled John Wick game.
Yes, it feels like a proof of concept of like, we got the license. And I think Saber did this before with some of the Star Wars games that they were supposed to do. They got canceled to where it's like, hey, here's a cool trailer that this is all we have. We have a contract that says we can do this, and we have a trailer. Please help us work on the game. So hopefully I'm wrong and it's actually going to come out soon or within the next year or two, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. After that, we got a Marathon trailer. They're going to do a stress test February 26th, but the game will be launching on March 5th still. This seems very more story focused. Even though I don't believe there's a traditional story in Marathon.
I don't think there is.
Yeah, so it's just world building.
Bungie games don't have stories anymore.
I know. It's so hard to keep a website running. But this is I don't know if this did anything for me as someone who played the beta and the alpha and wasn't super into it. What about you? Because I know you're on the fence.
It actually concerned me a little bit more.
Okay.
Because over the last 10 or 12 years that I've been covering video games, a server stress test the weekend before launch, not a good idea.
This reminds me of the Concord one where like no one played. Yeah. They were like, please, like it's open to everybody. Yeah. Please, for the love of God, play.
So I'm just like, I think it would have been better, my opinion. It would have been better for them to be like, stress test starts now, like right now. And it'd be this weekend, and then to be fair, my limited understanding of this is I believe it's actually running not on the same servers that Destiny runs on, but the same type of servers that Destiny runs on. So in terms of, we've seen that when there are a large amount of players, like it can handle it. So like, it also appears, I believe, that this is the same engine that Destiny runs on.
Okay.
So, multiple things of, like, they're just kind of taking a pumpkin and coloring it a different color, which is a lot of different colors, some of them stolen colors.
Yellow.
But, so,
blue.
But it's one of those things where I think they said, like, I don't remember, I'm going to probably get the dates wrong, but like the 22nd through the 2nd? 22nd through the 1st or something, and then
26th to the 2nd.
Yeah, so shorter than I thought, and then it comes out 3 days later. Yeah. So I get it. You're potentially riding like, oh, I had a great time, and I played Sunday and Monday, and then my buddy texts me on Thursday and says, hey, I'm getting a game. Are you getting it? Oh yeah, I had a good day with that 3 days ago, and they're trying to get the FOMO or the right at the top of your list right away versus, oh, it's been a month. Nah, I'm good. So I don't know, but I'm gonna buy it. And enough people on my friends list are gonna play it. I'm gonna buy it. I've spent $40 on worse. So
would it be horrible or like?
Well, I take it back. I plan on buying it, but if this beta kicks my ass, I'm not buying it.
Okay. Would it be morally bad if they avoid the Concord situation? They get people to join the servers. They realize the servers aren't getting stressed enough, so then someone at Bungie unplugs the server for like 10 minutes, and then they put out a tweet being like, our servers are being overwhelmed from the demand of people trying to play. We are trying to work on it, and they just plug it back in so that the 15 people trying to play can feel like they're in a big group. Would that be like dirty or morally wrong?
Yeah, I could see something like that. Like, but I also if
nothing breaks during the stress test, I feel like that's a bad sign.
The most interesting thing as a Destiny fan and Bungie producing a second game for the first time in Destiny's life cycle is that there are some very, very talented people that went over to work on Marathon, to much of my disappointment that they weren't working on Destiny anymore. And it sounds like some of those people are getting pushed back over to Destiny because Marathon is essentially done. So certain things that they're doing, I don't really know like how much more. I say this like with a big grin on my face because of all the, if you've been following the marathons thing as well, but like how much more artwork has to be done. Probably a lot, but, but I don't know, like in terms of like if they have maps that are waiting to come out in the next couple of months, like they're probably done or they're mostly done. And so like there's probably a lot of assets for this game that, I don't know, like as an example, like the finals or Marvel Rivals, like how many different maps are there and how different are they feeling? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, is that an actual question or just philosophical?
Yeah, like in terms of like a game that's, and I know Marvel Rivals is free to play and Marathon's not free to play, but I meant more in terms of like there's only so many things that you can or can't do with a map and an aesthetic, and to protect sight lines and to protect choke points and all these things, or cheese spots and most of that stuff has been figured out over years of Call of Duty and years of Battlefield and years of Overwatch and I feel like you see map design when it's poor, and it's poor, but you don't realize when you're playing good map design because it just feels like it should.
Yeah, I mean, from a rival situation, it's still relatively new. They just passed their 1 year, but they've been releasing a new map every 8 weeks, roughly.
Okay.
And that's been doing a pretty good job. And they also do the thing where they've retired maps temporarily for like a season and then brought them back, and that's kind of helped keep things going. But when it comes to Rivals, it's mostly being propped up by the fact that there's 2 new heroes a season. So that is where you get your gameplay difference, and the map doesn't really matter. Marathon is going to have the problem of like there's no real heroes or personalities that you're working off of. It's going to come down to mechanics and loot, and can they keep
class.
that up?
It sounds like it's class again.
Yeah. And there's only so much you can do with that. There's only so many shaders you can throw at people every couple days or couple weeks to get people to keep going. So it's going to be tougher, but if there's a studio that has done that work before, that have an experience with that work, it's Bungie. It's just,
correct. And
will
if it
people pay
feels
$40?
Right,
yeah.
If it feels balanced and it feels right and it does what it's supposed to do, there's things that can be overlooked.
Yeah. People will I mean, there was stuff with like the original Destiny and Destiny 2 that like were like not bad, but like didn't feel great, that it didn't matter because like that loot cycle was there for you. The new like final end content is coming, and that stuff was going to make the lull periods worth it. Marathon has it
don't have that crutch. Like it's like you said, like circling back to the Left 4 Dead style game, the 4 bad game,
loop,
like 4 loop game. Like if there, sorry, I didn't mean to call it 4 bad, but if there's not, like to your point, like if I can't get 3, if I'm home on Tuesday night and I can't get 3 of my friends to play the game, I'm not going to play the game. If I have 2 hours, like as an example, using me as a little bit just before we recorded, I'm like, I got an hour and a half of time to kill down here. Angela's upstairs watching her show, talking to her mom, or whatever. I'm going to jump on Destiny and do something solo, and I can. It took them a little while to get to that point, but I can. Is Marathon going to have that same thing? Are you going to want to solo queue into Marathon? Are you going to want to solo queue into the 4v1 game or the 4-player game? And do you feel like you're progressing and working on something and getting closer to what you want? Or is it only a game that's going to be fun when you have 3 or 4 of your friends you need to find that delicate balance. Like, Fortnite has it. You can play, and Fortnite has solo queue. It's great. You're playing against everybody else that's a solo queue. Me, 2 weeks into Marathon, as I'm trying to work on my skills and get better with it, and I solo queue and I get my ass kicked, I'm jumping off the game. I'm done.
So my experience with Marathon, it does feel like a completely different game when you are playing it solo. When I did play it with people, it was definitely more of like run and gun, like you feel a little bit invincible. When I did queue solo in that game, though, I did have to play like almost like a stealth game. A little bit, because it did feel like I was by myself. I did have teammates, but I didn't necessarily could rely on them because I just queued with randoms. So if that gameplay can hold up, I can see there being that in there. But if you're a social gamer and you just happen to have a time period where you don't have anyone to socialize with, you might not be into playing a game like that.
And I'm definitely damn sure not going to put my best gear on and go in there.
No, and that is a thing that you have to consider of just like, I'm just going to And that's a good thing about Marathon is at any point, I believe you could just pull the fuck out. Like, you can call a beacon and then you're just like, hey, I'm done. So you could just do like little loot runs where you kind of go in with nothing to just see what you can end up pulling out. So there is potential for that gameplay loop, but it's just a matter of like, do they have a solid enough roadmap and how they're going to present that roadmap in a way that doesn't like piss off the Destiny players who are going to be like, where's my roadmap? And then finding that balance.
They're getting close to that right now. Like, Bungie has not said a word about something called Shadow and Order that's supposed to come out 3 days before Marathon comes out. They have not said a word, and we're less than 30 days from this date of what they were saying for it. And there's rumors that it's delayed because Marathon kind of got in the way, but more or less like the last little mid update they did was so bad that they don't want to do this one again. It was the last update was called Ash and Iron, ASH and Iron, and it was nicknamed Ass and Iron.
Yeah.
So it was when I wasn't playing Destiny either, like when Angela was at the peak of her breast cancer battle, and I wasn't playing games at all. But so then they did their This Week at Bungie before this reveal, and I was in my mind, I'm like, is there going to be anything Destiny on the state of play? It's on a Thursday, like I think and I didn't expect there to be.
Yeah, but you were hopeful, maybe like something.
Yeah, some kind of announcement. I was happy that Marathon was there, but it was more or less okay. Like, when's your beta? Like that's what we were. Everybody with Marathon fans were like, okay, we're gonna get the beta date today. Like that's what when we knew we had a state of play. So. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I'll play it. I'll try. So
yeah.
Before you go on to the next game, I know that you were kind of putting stuff that you thought you and I might like.
Yeah.
I feel like I saw this before and it looked better this time, and I kind of went back through to find it. Beast of Reincarnation.
Oh yeah, that's the Game Freak game, the Pokemon people's.
Yeah. When they first showed this a couple months ago, I was like, that looks cool, but I'm not going to play it. What they showed today, I'm like, I might play that.
I can see that. I believe it's going to be a Game Pass game, I believe, because it was at the last Xbox event.
Okay,
the one from like a month ago.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it looks interesting. It's coming out on August 4th, from what I see. And I think a lot of the intrigue here is just it's Game Freak, and it's not Pokemon. So it's like, what do they have? Though Game Freak have made non-Pokemon games before. But it's just like, hey, they're trying something new. I do like the protagonist there. I love the wolf, like spirit animals sort of thing that they're going with. That actually look interesting from like the actual gameplay and also just the outside perspective of just like, oh, Game Freak, what are they doing?
Yeah, and I'm not a huge JRPG kind of guy, but Rev Noir looked interesting.
Yeah, that's the Konami one that we talked about. That one definitely looks like it could be pretty cool. Yeah. After Marathon, we got another Saros trailer. So the Housemarque game. I think this game looks interesting. It's one of those things that will probably be a coin flip on whether I pick it up day one. I did love Returnal. I do love Housemarque. I haven't really seen anything from this game that makes me like want to play it day one, but it does look solid and an improvement over Returnal.
Agreed. And I feel like this trailer is what I call damage control.
Okay.
And the reason I call it damage control because they were showing like, hey, you don't have to go all the way to the back to the beginning when you die. There's systems in place to help you. So like, and I think they were like, please play this game. Like, it's not as punishing as you think it is.
Here are buffs and modifiers.
And I was like, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I was like, oh, you can't overcomplicate it, but you can't oversimplify it. You have to be in balance, and then you can teleport to your biome. And I'm like, okay, you're throwing the carrot out there to people. Like,
yeah, like if you had a complaint about Returnal, we know.
Yeah, like, yeah. And kudos, they did a great job with it. They covered it up, but I'm like,
yeah,
they're trying to make sure you don't realize that you're not going to get just punched in the face. Like, ooh, I got like Owen's he's been dabbling with Hades 1 and 2 a little bit the last couple of months, and he gets like really far, and he gets pissed.
You know what?
When he dies,
and the thing about Hades is funny is he probably doesn't enjoy that you're supposed to die so you get more story. You're not meant to go through it, but he's still young enough that it's frustrating. But he's like, I had a great weapon and I don't have that weapon anymore. And like, and he's like, my last 3 runs have been bad weapons. And I'm like, Yeah.
Okay.
But you're here to enjoy the story every time you die. And he's just like, there's a story? I didn't know. I'm just trying to kill the goblins.
It's just funny. But I just, like Saros is like, hey, we are rogue. Yes, but.
Yep. We're aware, and we have put things in it to make it more enjoyable for you. Pick it up. Yeah. Returnal, from what I understand, for like a launch-ish game, sold well enough that it's like, I don't think there's any like fear of like. Sadly, we're in a part. We'll talk about this later with another news story. We're in the fear of like if your game doesn't hit, there's a chance you get closed or lose your studio. But Housemarque is probably safe. Yes, you get concorded or high guarded if things just don't hit. And I don't think Housemarque has to really worry about that.
No. Yeah. Not anymore. No, now that they're owned by PlayStation,
which they have admitted
5 years ago. Like,
what was it? Meta something was their last game before they got bought by Sony, and it was just like, oh, that didn't hit. Oh no. Yeah. Then we got some character announcements for Marvel Token. That's coming out August 6th. So they are adding Storm, Wolverine, Magic, and Danger. So they're adding the Danger Room, which yes, that is a character in the comics, and it is a cool character. So no one judge it. I fucked up and I went on Twitter and I looked and people were like, what the hell is Danger? And it's like, you sons of bitches got to read some comics. But yeah, so they added.
They're gonna be really mad when we get this Ninja Turtles game in like 2028, and it's dark as hell. They're gonna be super upset.
What happened to Mikey?
Like, where's my pizza eating nunchuck dude? Like, man, that ain't a Ninja Turtle.
Why
buddy.
Is he sad? It's like because his brothers are dead. But yeah, no. They announced that there's gonna be 20 fighters at launch, and then they announced their season stuff. I believe their year one is going to have 5 additional fighters released within the year of launch. Mm-hmm. So they have their stuff all lined up. I played the beta. I don't think I can say I have an opinion on the beta because of NDAs, but I played beta, and I'm looking forward to this.
Everything that I've seen from the outside looking in is that the fighting game community seems to be anticipating this a lot.
Yeah, no, I think I can say I had fun.
I'm not saying that they're happy, but I think that their anticipation is high.
Yes, from the common complaint that other people have had, not me, have been, if only this had Capcom fighters for the Marvel people to fight, this would be perfect, but it doesn't, so we have this. And it's funny, I think it shares some of the voice actors that are in Rivals, which I think is now just a new thing where Marvel just has established voice actors for these characters, so it's just kind of funny.
Well, and to be fair, like I think that's a good idea.
It is.
Like, I don't, in 2027 when Wolverine comes out, if he's in 3 or 4 different games, I don't want him sounding like 3 or 4 different people.
1 or 2, that's it. not more than that.
Or 1.
Yeah, 1 would be nice. Dave, sorry to spoil.
You have the Marvel license and our video game. This is our Wolverine video game voice. Well, we have our guy. No, you have my license. This is our Wolverine voice. This is our brand.
Sorry to spoil you, Dave. The Insomniac voice actor is not this voice actor. So there'll be 1 to 2 for Wolverine at least.
Right.
Then after that, I like how we just like Marathon introduced basically like, hey, this is the first party corner of the show, and kind of letting you know the show was ending. So in a nice move, T.C. Carson, the original voice actor for Kratos, came out and they announced a God of War trilogy remake. The thing that scared me is he said these games are in the early stages of development, and it is being developed by Santa Monica Studios. Early stages scares me, but this was long rumored to just be a remake of 1. So the fact that they announced that it's a trilogy and it's a remake of all 3 games, I'm hoping they kind of do a Tarantino Kill Bill cut where it's just all 3 games in one big game, as opposed to just like 3 individual games together. But that's just me. Like, it'd be kind of cool if they did that. But yeah, God of War trilogy remake. I'm super excited in it. It was nice that they got the original voice actor involved to introduce this. Hopefully maybe that means they're going to redo some lines if they have to, just to update everything. No gameplay shown whatsoever, just logos and them saying it's in early stages, which means it's going to be a while. Reactions,
especially if it's a full remake. If it's a full remake, which I mean, I think then using the word remake is different than remastered.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know that. Like that's a strategic word that they used. Fine, like it's been long enough. I haven't played them in a long enough time. The fourth one, they just obviously have just buried and not.
Yeah, Ascension doesn't really fit. The
right
PSP
now.
games
Ascension,
don't fit either. Ghost of Sparta.
Yeah, I think that if this is a remake, though, I think you could see a couple of the PSP like scenes or stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you combine
one or two levels woven into it, yeah.
I would be more interested in them retelling the story of the 3 games just as one big ass game.
Yeah. But yeah, that's cool. When Santa Monica's logo first
I got
showed
way
up,
more
I was
excited.
like, "Oh, is this the other game?
Yeah.
Like, is this the other game? Like, that we think is Barlog's other game? Is like his that we believe, if rumors are led to be believed, that he's gotten his sci-fi game back.
I don't know if that exists. I don't know if Santa Monica is a 4-game studio. If they're remaking 3 games and then have another game going.
Yeah. But this is like, for those of you that maybe don't know, surface level story, there was a Sony Santa Monica sci-fi style game that was shelved when and Santa Monica almost closed. Cory Barlog was let go, and this was all like.
Oh yeah, you're talking about when he went to go do Mad Max, like 2016,
and the game was shelved, and he left Santa Monica, and then they essentially multiple years later were like, "Please come back!" Like,
yes,
and
then he did God of War 1, and then they gave him the sci-fi game again, and that's why he wasn't the head of Ragnarok. And he's apparently been working on that for a while, but I worry that game doesn't exist anymore.
I agree. That might have been cutting room floor stuff for service games with Ryan leaving.
And it's going to be interesting though, because I think Balrog is only. So it's what David Jaffe is the first God of War, Balrog's the second God of War, and then Stev, I think was his name, was the third God of War.
Yeah, he went to Respawn or something like that. Stags or whatever. He's done the Jedi Fallen Order stuff.
Yeah, so I wonder if this is Santa Monica.
Stigmati or Stigs.
I wonder Stig Osmundson, something like that, I want to say.
I think
but I'm probably just like mashing words together right there, or letters.
He's the head of whatever studio, or he's the head of Respawn. At
one point. I think he was the head of specifically when the Jedi games. Yeah. So I wonder, like, if you just go to Cory Balrog and you're just like, hey, so you're going to be the director of these, so like try and make this work in modern times, see what you need to cut, because the games were all pretty similar, but they did have different creative directors for each game, and you can kind of tell that a little bit if you look really closely. So just blending them all three shouldn't be too hard, but just getting them up to date, and then you're going to have to cut some content here and there, most likely, if you're going to have one studio make these 3 games.
So over under, and this is when I wish I could have made a better clip and we could hold on to it. Over under, God of War trilogy remake, holiday 2028.
So that I would say push. I was thinking maybe earliest we would get is 2028, depending on the amount of work that they're going to be doing for this game. Yeah. Because God of War 3 was remade for the PS4, so they technically would just need to be really putting hard work into 1 and 2, because God of War 3 was remade already for PS4, so they could probably clean that one up pretty well. But if they're doing extensive work, I could see this being the end of the generation.
And then what's their version of early development?
I don't know, because do you need concept stages for an established thing you're remaking?
It's like, we just need to take the code and put it in PS5 and see
I think
what
it's
does.
interesting, though. I didn't see Bluepoint's name on this trailer.
Right.
And the rumor was Bluepoint was the ones making this because they had the asset from the multiplayer God of War game that they canceled. So maybe there's enough work established from Bluepoint that Santa Monica can just grab some of that work and then just start getting at it, just at least from a gameplay element. Because the rumor is Bluepoint was working on a Greek multiplayer God of War. So maybe the core is already there.
Yeah, and now we don't know what Bluepoint's doing, because I think that they formed another studio or smaller satellite studio to work on the game they took away from Bungie, the Gummy Bear game.
I think so. Yeah. They it's like a smaller like they combined like satellite studios.
Team, yeah. So it's very interesting to see like what. That would probably be potentially a topic for another show of like for Microsoft and for PlayStation. Let's just list the studios.
Actually, I really want to do that. Maybe we do that next episode. Our what we're playing episode could just be of like it's almost like a really deep dive into what these studios could be working on, what we want them to work on. I agree. And then the surprise at the end is a new God of War side scroller was announced, and it is out today. So that was revealed. Sons of Sparta. So you have young Kratos. The art style kind of threw me off just a little bit. I don't know what I was expecting, especially for like young Kratos. It definitely looks cool. Yeah. I think this wouldn't have worked as a one more thing announcement if it didn't drop today. Because otherwise I think it'd be a little underwhelming.
It's $30.
It's $30. Okay. That's a maybe for me. If
this would have, and it sounds terrible to say this, but if this would have been, and if this would have been on the PC, if this would have been part of Sony's initiative of PS5 PC dates, and
put it on the Switch.
I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Yeah, well, I would have bought this for the trip.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still probably gonna.
I have a trip in 2-3 weeks, so I will probably pick it up for that. But $30 seems kind of steep. This would have been a perfect of like, hey, it's in the Essentials catalog today.
You think $30 is steep for it? Like expensive?
I think so, but I don't know how big this game is. I also don't like side scrollers.
A couple people on my friends list have already been playing it today. I messaged a couple people on Discord that I saw that like if you link your PlayStation to Discord, I can see what you're playing, and they seem to like it, but they're only like an hour.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest side scroller fan. Some stuff it just really needs to capture me, and I like God of War. I'm not a big fan of his Greek era too much, so I don't know. I do think this helps that this was a like shadow drop sort of situation. That definitely helps kind of build up the hype for it. I do wish we just got some sort of release window for the trilogy, but yeah. Man, it's going to be 2028, almost 2030 for that trilogy. And then Santa Monica misses the generation outside of this remake. I guess they wouldn't miss the generation. Ragnarok came out, but then they would go like 7 years between releases or something crazy. Yeah. And that's scary. But that was a state of play.
Yeah, like we said at the beginning of the show, like solid. I mean, I feel like they're you skipped over it, but like scrolling through this Game Informer recap, like what I would call a dud, in my opinion, was like Big Walk.
Yeah, that seemed like a kind of silly thing. It looks familiar.
Yeah, whatever that Darwin's paradox was, that looked like a gimped Octodad.
Yeah.
Like, but and then there's something called like Project Windless.
Yes.
But for the most part, I feel like some solid stuff in there. A couple people on our Discord were like, multiple wish list games that they saw, and
there's like 5 for me,
with that.
Which is pretty high.
Yeah, that's about. It seems to be like the number, like 3 or 4 for me. Some stuff that I was interested with.
Dead or Alive,
and happy to hear him talk.
Dead or Alive, Day 1, Dave.
Happy to see them talking. Happy to see them have some of the devs on there. Happy to have them have some of the Sony first party people on there. Just to say, hey, Konami's back and we're partnering with them again, and this is what we're doing. Like there was definitely some nice homages there. The thing that was actually the most intriguing to me, outside of like the stuff that I would like, I'd play like. Death Stranding 2.
Yeah.
Like some of the clips they were showing, I'm like, that looks kind of fun.
It looks significantly better than Death Stranding 1 played, from what I can tell. But like, Dave, I'm just telling you, like, no, not for you.
I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. But I'm like, he set fire to a bunch of people. I go, that looks kind of cool. Yeah. I was like, that's like, do I need to play
every
this game?
time I'm
like, no,
tempted?
it's a Kojima game.
Every time
like, no.
I'm tempted, I remember how disappointed I was with Death Stranding 1, and I'm just like, I can't.
I was like, no, it's a Kojima game. And then my wife's like, isn't the Metal Gear stuff a Kojima game? I'm like, yeah, but that's when he was younger. Yeah. It's like,
that's when he had like chaperones telling him he had a budget.
Yeah, like that's before he overinflated himself.
Yeah. No, Death Stranding 2 is apparently
But
great.
yeah, I'm very happy. So.
But yeah, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. No, you're fine. Overall, very, very happy, very pleased to see some content. And like to your point, like I think there's only one or two things in here that said 2027.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
I think that had to be like fully intentional of like, hey, there's a big thing potentially coming out in November that might get pushed to next year, and we just got to stay away from it. A lot of stuff.
Let me ask you, because I know Tom is listening, and Tom was on my case a little bit about this today. So I'm gonna call you out, Tom. I'm gonna get some text message from him. He is adamant that he believes that there is going to be a disc version of GTA 6 this November.
Man, so I really think those rumors of them trying to stay away from spoilers will be true. So I think we would get. I could see the disc being maybe a month away from the actual release. Like at the earliest,
because if they're going to send it to reviewers, or they're not going to let anybody break the street date, right?
Yeah,
is that what you're saying?
So they're going to be worried about that.
They're not going to let mom and pop shops sell it a month early or something.
So they would just push it to where like I think the game comes out November.
You can buy the disc, but we're going to send it to you in 2 months.
Yeah, you pre-order. It's like, hey, if you want to play this game day one, you need digital. But I think the disc, if it does come out this year, will probably be like a week before Christmas. So I think it's coming out November 19th, I want to say.
Something like that.
So I would say it's like to avoid Black Friday sales too and all that stuff. If it comes out this year on physical disc, it's going to be close to Christmas, and people are going to have to double dip or wait. And knowing,
am I going to have to play this?
Breath of the Wild 6?
Like I'm going to have to play this.
Yeah, so you can just like I don't know.
Be part of the conversation
when coworkers
of something that's going to be taking over the world in November and December.
And just so you can be part of the conversation of people just being like, am I old? Like, I just didn't do it for me. Am I the boomer? It will be everyone's reaction.
Owen is old enough now that I could be like, get out of here.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I will probably pick it up day one. I wasn't the biggest fan of GTA 5, so I probably will be...
I can't fucking remember. Destiny came out after GTA 5.
I have GTA 5 twice. I have PS3 and PS4.
There was something that showed like number of days. Like obviously some of my algorithms are messed up for my stuff personalized. There was something like X amount of days since like Destiny launched. It was like 6,000 or something. Like I'm like, God damn.
Yeah. Destiny's just another one of your kids at this point.
Yeah, it's older than Owen.
There you go.
So. All right, so you've got a couple small bullet points on here. I'll let you do this first one, and I'll do the last one.
So a couple games are being delisted. I figured I'd just bring this up before games get delisted in case you want to buy them or find a physical copy. But NBA Playgrounds is being delisted this summer. WWE Battlegrounds is being delisted this summer. And Jurassic Park Collection is being delisted in about a month. So the Jurassic Park Collection did get a limited run release that you can still pick up in like Best Buys and Targets and VGP. So that's it's a collection of I think the Genesis and NES or Super NES Jurassic Park games. That is being delisted, and the prices are already kind of starting to skyrocket. So if you're into physical collecting or just want to have this in your digital library, the Jurassic Park Collection is probably worth picking up before it gets delisted. So just delisted watch, because I feel like this is going to be a common thing for the next couple years, because we do have a lot of companies doing licensed product because it's safer, but they are not licensing this stuff long term. So we are going to start seeing stuff just kind of disappearing if it has a franchise attached to it or an IP that they don't own. So there we go, my delisted corner.
All right, and so this is on a list for me to talk about when we talk about playing. So this is a relevant news story. Highguard Studio hit with layoffs as game struggles to maintain a player base.
That's the quote from the studio.
Yeah. So today we have an incredibly difficult decision to part ways with a number of our team members while keeping a core group of developers to continue innovating and supporting the game. Their player base is dropping like a rock.
Really bad, really fast. It's what, like 3 weeks old?
Yeah, and it's under, I think, 5,000 concurrent players. So like I'm getting a little worried about this game. Seems like its potential had a potential to be really, really good. I think this also is, in my opinion, potentially a studio of hand-picked people from the Apex team and from the Titanfall team. They're like, oh, we're just going to do this. And when they do that, it brings ego into it. And like, oh, this is how this worked. Like, but you had EA's backing, not your own independent backing. So I know they did some sponsored stuff. They had to lay some people off. I hope that maybe it'll swing back, but I don't know.
The fact that they put a roadmap for the year, and we were just complimented them last week of like, hey, they have a roadmap, like a year solid roadmap, but just to see how quickly this has dropped. And anytime I see like a quote from a studio that's just like, we're going to leave a core group of developers, it just feels like core group just means like maintenance. Like, hey, we have an obligation to keep the server running for this amount of time, sort of thing. I when you drop down to a core group, I don't really believe that you're going to be innovating with that core group. You're just there for maintenance and support of the game, which is a shame because people were kind of excited for how this game felt like the first week or two and excited for the fact that they had a roadmap, which is something that we talk about all the time with these live service games. Like, roadmaps are important. So they did that right, but it just doesn't seem like the attention span's there, which is why, like, hey, I'm a little worried about Marathon. Or not worried, because I don't really give a shit what happens to it, but just like, as a PlayStation fan, I am heavily invested in seeing what goes on with Marathon. Arc Raiders seems to be doing pretty strong still, but we'll see what Marathon does to Arc Raiders.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. Arc Raiders just announced like some PvE event, like a limited time event, and to the point where I messaged somebody and they're like, yeah, maybe wait.
Yeah.
There's other things, like the way, like, it's a decent game, but it also sounds like another one of those games that's only fun if you have your friends on. And appointment style gaming is a challenge. In especially in my current systems and my current time frames of playing, it's a challenge. So.
Yeah. Now,
so on that note, I am looking for a handful of PC, ideally PC, just because like what I talked about of like there's some other stuff going on with my mom that require my attention. There's a ton of obviously Angela's requiring a lot of my attention. She went back to work, like she's doing good, but there might be some waiting room stuff and some hospitalizations and surgeries in the near future. So kind of chilling and waiting sometimes. I am looking for single player recommendations. Some I might own, and some I'm probably forgotten about. So please just kind of hit me with some recommendations of things that you've been enjoying over the last year or two. I'm pretty sure that I've played the majority of what I would call like blockbuster titles, but who knows? I might have forgotten something. So let me know.
That's all
right?
we're doing
Nothing
here.
else?
We'll be back in a week with a more focused on what we've been playing over the last month or so, which is why Dave is asking about some recommendations. And we'll just kind of deep dive into what we're playing. We will ask if you have any questions, drop them in our Discord so we can share those on the playing one, either whatever you're playing or what you're looking forward to. We might dive into Dave's idea from earlier about kind of looking at like what studios PlayStation and Microsoft have and what they could be working on. So we're going to get a little experimental with this third episode and just kind of just talk about actually playing games. Unless some crazy news happens and we have to talk about, but it won't be news focused the next episode.
Yeah, I'll be out of the. I'll be out of the country.
Our timelines are we're recording this a little earlier before this release, so technically.
Yeah. So. Yeah, but I mean, the next episode you should be getting on your feed will probably be around anywhere between the 23rd and the 25th of February.
So hopefully Dave will get some games in during his trip. maybe he'll get the God of War game. Oh no, you don't. You wouldn't have that anywhere. I can't.
I wouldn't have a way to play
it either.
You said it. And I was like, "What's he gonna play it on?" I was like, "Do you have a portal?"
But I do need one, but shit.
Okay, you would have to test it. I think I bought the portal, and I tried playing something in my house
with remote play, but
I know. But if you're gonna do that, just get the portal.
I have a MacBook. I don't have a portal, Dave. It'd be cheaper if I just.
Can you hook your DualSense to your MacBook?
Okay. I tested it with Final Fantasy 14 a couple years ago.
I've been impressed with the remote play. You know what? I forgot about that too, but that requires internet, so I don't think I can do that on the boat.
Unless they got good Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but it's like $90
fuck
a
that.
day.
Never mind, Dave. Go play Control.
Yeah, so like I'd have to send you a screenshot of like the drink packages and the Wi-Fi packages. Like one of the things, like me really well. Like I drink, but I don't drink.
You
know what I'm saying? Like I'm not
Heineken.
I'm not alcohol agnostic. Yeah, but I was, so I was like, finally the cruise line made a middle package of like, I'll get the numbers wrong, but it's like $120 a day for all you can drink. And if you're a drinker, that's a deal. If you're not a drinker, it's not a deal. But if you try to get there and I just want some Mountain Dew or some Pepsi or some Gatorade or some Body Armor, they're like $14. And I'm like, God damn it. And so then you feel obligated to drink alcohol because you're paying for it. But they found something in the middle ground now that's essentially everything that's available to drink that's not alcohol. And if I want a beer, like if I decide that I want a beer on the boat, I'll spend the $15 or $20 on the beer that one time. So, but it's just, I could do a whole thing on cruise pricing, and it's crazy. But the bottom line for me and my wife with the cruising right now is that we don't have to think about anything. You're hungry? Just walk down the hall and get food. You don't have to think about anything. We're like, oh, we can go here, and like, yeah, but then we have to go here for dinner, and it's like, no, just you can go down there and get turkey legs and chicken, or you can go down there and get a steak.
Cruises sound horrible to me, but Dave, I hope you have fun.
Yeah. I've been on one, and it wasn't horrible. What's your biggest fear? And please don't tell me like the
No.
Thing.
It's not the germ thing. It's not even being on water. I just feel like I would get the whole experience within one day, and then I'll have 6 days where I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna like? What are we doing?
So yes, but you typically have a day of traveling, and then you have depending on if you're on a 6 day cruise, like you have the beginning day, the first day, the day 1 and day 6 are back and forth. Day 2, 3, 4, and 5, you're usually stopping somewhere.
Maybe it's just also the idea of like I don't like people, so maybe being on a boat with people would just be like,
I'll tell you what, zipline. I had a blast ziplining in Honduras. Like that was so cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I just being on a boat. I like to keep moving. I think that's my thing. Like I can walk around a boat, but it's okay. I don't know. Also, I'm not much of a drinker either, or anything like that, or not a pool person.
I would equate a cruise to a very, very much like staying in like a 6 or 7 star hotel that was all included.
Yeah. And see, like when I'm on vacation, I spend the least amount of time at a hotel. Like the hotels, I'm just there to crash and then run around.
Yeah.
The next morning until like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So that's just how I am. But I can see where the fun is for other people. But for me, I'm just like, nah, I need to keep moving. And then also I do have the irrational fear of when they do like, hey, we're gonna explore this place for a little bit, of like not getting back in time and then being left somewhere.
Well, if you go on the cruise lines versions of those, they don't leave without.
No. I've seen the videos. They do leave if you are not there.
No, but those are the people that like to do their own thing. But I'm saying is if you go
Stick
like on
with
the
like group.
So like as an example, I'll do. Well, not even but like if you go on, let's say you're on Carnival. I'm going on Carnival. So let's say you decide that you're going to go ziplining on Carnival, and you go with the Carnival crew of like 40 or 50 people, which I already know you'd be like 40, 50 people.
But I like theme parks too, which is funny because like that's way surrounded by people.
Yeah. So, but if you're with the Carnival group, they will not leave without the Carnival group returning to the boat.
Okay,
that's a Carnival employee. If you decide to do your own thing, like you get off at the port and you go to like the vendor that's like, hey, come here, I will take you. Like they'll leave your ass then.
Is this going to be like family, like you bring Owen sort of thing, or is Owen staying home? Okay, yeah.
Yes, Owen comes with us. Yep.
Too many kids.
Yeah, about halfway through. there's
just
an
drop
area
them off.
for them.
No,
It's
I know.
bigger than
You
think
just
it
drop
is.
them off, and that's
No, I don't even drop him off now. After the second or third day, he just started going.
Yeah,
on
I guess
his
he's
own.
old enough
He
that you're just like,
he
you know what? You can swim.
he's like-
Your whole family can swim. You're like, you're good.
Yeah. So, I mean, one, it's very hard to get to be overboard on the boat. It is hard. Two, there's a whole children area that he can just go into and leave. It's actually a pretty interesting system that they use with the cards and everything like that. It's kind of cool. The little cruise cards you have that identify who you are. I can see where he is on the app. GPS, I can be like, oh, he went into this room.
That's cool.
Yep. So, but
Can't bring my cats.
So, all right. So you can't bring the cat. No, you cannot. I actually, you know what?
There probably is like a sad you can bring your cat carnival cruise.
And for the record, just for you, I've seen them. We looked at them. There are adult only cruises.
I would hope so because, like, I don't know. Just the idea of like trying to like be tipsy and then having a run.
Michael's like, I want to have my beer and I want to sit by the pool and not get splashed.
And have some dumb kid walk by and say 6'7" or some bullshit. Like, I don't want to deal with that.
drop his popsicle on me or whatever.
Don't want to deal with that shit. Children should be banned.
Oh my gosh.
From everything.
All right. That's our show for this week. We will talk to you guys next week. I hope everyone has a great week. Enjoy your time. Super Bowl game sucked, but we can talk about that later. And hope everyone has a great week.
Don't be a dick.
Keep moving forward.
See ya.